What's going on, everyone? I'm going to have a two-part video coming out, one today and one next Monday. I will not be putting a video out this Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So I hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving this week, and part two will come out next week. This is going to be on car leasing again. I know I put a lot of videos out on car leasing, but I just think it's very important to, touch on topics whenever they come up. So let's get to today's video. So I'm going to be looking down the read off my laptop. I left a comment on this video a couple months ago, and I'm going to read some of the replies I get back. I constantly get replies back. I just got one the other day, and I just thought it would be a good video to put out with this. So I said, buy used, no car payments is the way to go. I leased 2 cars for 3 years. Over $20,000 later, I had nothing to show for my hard-earned money. Such a waste. Live and learn. So one of the comments I got from Gabriel, she said, you might have something to show, but when you go to sell it and the fall in price, you would have lost about the same. No, I wouldn't have, because first of all, one thing with the whole price is when you lease a car, you are not negotiating the overall price of that car. So more than likely that car dealership is selling you that car at the highest retail price that they could possibly sell you that for, because they know when you go in there, you're looking at a monthly payment. You are looking at what can I afford monthly, and that's the whole purpose of a lease, is you want that lower monthly payment, okay? You want the new car, you want the wow factor, you want to drive around in the best thing out there, and you want to do for the least amount of possible payment per month. So they know that you're looking at that monthly payment. So more than likely, you're well overpaying for that car. And then on another part with the fall in price, guys, that's why you buy a car that's already depreciated an astronomical amount. So that's why we bought a 2015 Honda CR-V and not a 2019, not a 2018. This car has been massively marked down because it's already been depreciated a ton. Okay, so that is another thing is why I say buy at least a 5-year-old car. And the Honda CR-V that I'm going to be putting in the part 2 of this video, next week I'm going to be giving a breakdown of our 2015 Honda CR-V, and a 2020, I'm going to show you that there's really no difference between the cars, and I paid a lot less for that car, and it only had 19,000 miles on it. So we basically got a new car for a fraction of the cost. And another thing at the end of that lease, what she's saying is like, since you're paying for that car at such an astronomical amount, because the next comment here is someone said, well, why didn't you, if you're so worried about saving money, why didn't you just buy outright at the end of the lease? Well, the residual value is so high because when I went in there, I looked at my monthly payment and I overpaid for this car. So when I went in, the Dodge Journey that we had, the remaining balance on the car was about $16,000 and it was only worth $12,000. So there's a $4,000 gap there. Why am I going to pay over $4,000 for a car? And that's basically what's happening. So that's why I did not buy out that lease at the end of the term. And I just traded it in, paid the disposition fee, and got out of Dodge with paying for these leases nonstop. So then Gabriel goes to respond back, basically saying, that's your choice. Other people prefer to have a new car and not have to worry about maintenance and it breaking down. Once again, guys, I'm not worried about my 2015 Honda CR-V breaking down, and I'm not worried about maintenance on it. Okay, so basically, when I get to these videos, when I get to these replies, usually 9 times out of 10, the profile picture is a young person. So my thing is them, they either been watching tons of videos on why leasing is great. They've been told by other people why leasing is great. So that's what they think. Basically you're brainwashed into thinking leasing is great. Have you ever owned a car outright? And that's what I want to ask these people, and I'm not calling anybody out on this, on these replies. I enjoy going back and forth with people. But my thing is have you ever owned a car outright? A good car, not a $3,000 car, a beater that you bought just to get from point A to point B, but a 2015 Honda CR-V with 19,000 miles on it. Have you ever owned a car outright like that? Because I'll tell you what, while you're continuing to pay your monthly payments on your lease, I'm building wealth. And I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't buy and want to own outright is because they don't have the money to do it. Because you have to have some bank in there to pay for maintenance costs. And people are not budgeting. People are not getting themselves out of debt. People are strapped with a ton of debt. To them, this is peace of mind. I pay a low monthly payment and I will always be okay with my cars. Well, I'm telling you right now, you put money in the bank and you pay for those. I don't even care if you pay for $1,500 a year in maintenance fees and maintenance costs, which that's astronomical. We've had the Honda CR-V for over a year now, or almost a year. Yeah, almost a year. And we have not put one dime into it. So besides oil changes. Okay, so my thing to you is put the money in the bank and you pay for it, and then you replenish that money and you start building wealth again. Because as long as you keep, and if you're married, you have 2 leases for $400 a piece or $450 a piece, guys, you have a mortgage payment nonstop for the rest of your life because you want leases and you want new cars. When are you going to build wealth? When are you going to build wealth? Because I'll tell you what, right now, having no car payments, have leasing, and wasted money on that. Now I have no car payments, and I'm telling you right now, this is when you start building wealth, is when you have $500, $600, $700 free extra a month because you are not paying for those every month leases. I hope that makes sense. I know I do ramble on sometimes. I'm trying to really get my point across. This one here, GH says, personally owning a car stresses me out. I've leased cars since I was a freshman in college, and I don't have to worry about the responsibility of ownership. My brother had 2 cars he bought outright, and he had nothing but problems with them. And the 2018 he is also having problems with them. My thing there is the 2 cars that he bought outright, were they $3,000, $4,000 cars? I mean, you're going to have problems with those guys. I mean, that's a temporary thing when you buy cars that cheap. In the 2018, I mean, he might be just one of the unfortunate ones that had a problem with his car. And my response to him is I find it a lot less stressful not having car payments than having car payments. I'd rather, fix that car whenever the time needs to be fixed and just keep moving on with life. Like I said, if I pay $1,000 in maintenance cost in 1 year and you're paying $400 a month, okay, that's 2.5 months that I'm paying equaling your car payments, and then the rest of the year I have nothing. I'm investing that money the rest of the year that I would have been paying on a lease, that you are paying on a lease. I hope you guys are understanding me. And then Steven Rodriguez here, he left a long comment here. I'm just gonna go over this real quick. So basically what he's saying is that, once again, he gets into the maintenance, he gets into the warranty of always having a not worrying about that stuff with the lease. And he's talking about having the driving experience of new tech and stuff like that. Once again, guys, I believe that's this younger crowd, this younger generation is just getting brainwashed into thinking that they gotta have everything brand new and it's the way to go. We are so obsessed with impressing other people. Like, I don't even think, I think 30% of it's for you and 70% of it is because you care what other people think about what you're driving. I really do. I really think 30% of it's for you and 70% because you just want to impress other people. And I'm not even going to get into the maintenance cost again because, once again, it cracks me up. Go own a car outright. Put $1,000 to $1,500 in the maintenance cost per year if you need to. And that's high. That's on the high end if you're buying a good car. And you tell me that you still think that leasing's a better way to go. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. I'm telling you firsthand that you're going to build wealth whenever you don't have car payments. That whole thing about having that driving experience, it's an expensive way to live. And then to summarize this one here, this guy's saying that, leasing, boosts your credit score up because every time I turn that car in, it's showing up on my credit card that that's another car paid off. And, the excuses that people come up with that they want to, for leasing. I said, you're spending a lot of money on that credit score, aren't you? The amount of wealth that you could build with no car payments will super exceed that high credit score anytime, in my opinion. Buy a car, that's around 3 or 4 years old and you won't have to worry about the depreciation. Once again, guys, to me, it's just amazing the thought process that people have on leasing cars. I really do. And like I said, I've leased. I wasted over $20,000 in 3 years on those leases. And now I own outright. And I'm seeing that I can build wealth with not having car payments. And it's the maintenance costs that you guys are told about is nowhere even close to it. You guys act like you're dropping an engine out and dropping a tranny out every freaking 3 seconds. It's the chances of that happening to your car are probably slim to none. Am I worried about the engine going on that Honda CR-V or transmission? No, absolutely not. It probably won't go. I'll probably drive that car for 200,000 miles and not have to worry about an engine or a transmission. You guys worry too much. Start following channels like this, get yourself out of debt and get yourself on track. So guys, that's it for today. Like I said, part 2 is next week. I'm going to compare our Honda 2015 to a 2020, and we're going to go over those numbers and just to make more of a point of, buy used. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.